expertise, we'd be in the same old rut.
Marcos, when you signed your license, right?
Yes,
Okay. Do you remember when you signed the contract?
yes,
That contract is how I get paid, and there's much more to it than the cash or the property. Okay.
okay,
So that's already paid under contract, but now we're talking about currency and flow. Income now from the contract that you signed that makes your and my agreement a monetized and legal and binding agreement, right?
right.
So Marcos, you and I already took care of that part, and I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. When cash flow starts coming into, I mean, you committed to pay 100 grand on there, right?
Right. Yeah, put up a property.
By golly, that's a big commitment. So you'd think that that would mean that you're fully commissionable to get that, because I mean, you're fully commissionable, right?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. So getting after it's real important, right? And so that means that there's going to be revenue coming in, and that's what I'm talking about. Now you're licensed and you're commissionable. Who's first? You guys ever see Abbott and Costello? Who's on first? I love that one. But you got to think about that, because who's on first? Well, then who's on second? No, I said who's on first. That's what I asked. Are you with me still?
I'm still here.
Thanks, because now we're talking about who's on first when the money's coming in, not after we already signed our contract. That's a separate issue. We've done that. It's a beautiful thing. I'm confident we did the right thing. But
Okay.
now that the money's going to come in, let me ask the question again. Who should get paid first?
Well, since the contract agreement is taken care of and that's behind us, then we should get paid. We should get paid.
You think like I do, Marcos. When you slow that stuff down, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the next question I stumbled into. How many people on the call would even know how to take the kind of money we're talking about?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Okay, well, I think it's easier to decentralize, and I'm opening that up for a little bit right here before we get into that call this morning, because it's going to be a heavy subject, and there's a few people that I know on these calls I'm going to be talking to today about it, okay? Because it's a
Great.
big decision that we have to make, and I think we can do both, and here's why. But I want y'all to consider it, because it's going to affect your licensing. And this is a HOA, and we do things together when it comes to major decisions like this, okay? But keep
Okay.
in mind, I think we can do both. But I would like you to have the option to be able to take the money in front end for you first and then pass it through the smart contract to us, because all that would be passed through for you on a tax basis anyway. Okay? But if it hits your account first on the receivables on 100,000, if it hits your account first, then you can account it as a net revenue into your new entity, which could look extremely good in a year from now on your financials. And so there's a couple of things to think about how that could be a benefit. But my big issue was when we were talking about this with some of the guys on the team is that you know, I come up out of cardiac arrest and had to re-blueprint my life. I know what it takes for a lot of people to get involved and get up and running again, and it ain't the easiest thing in the world, I can assure you. I know. But we figured it out. And that's really part of the story here, is that you can start, but the whole point is to get to what we're doing and what you see happening around you. Because if a guy like me can be dead 3.5 years ago, and I'm supposed to be a vegetable on a platform, and I can go from that to here through an equity play, I want to tell that story because I found a path from basic despotism into wealth, and I'm trying to show everybody. And when it comes to economics, you have to look at it a different way, because I'll share the quote with you because I think it's important. Hang on, I got to pull it up here. It's right here.
We're not seeing your screen.
Dennis, if you're here, you sent me this quote, Dennis Gray. Hey, here it is, Buckminster.
We don't see your screen yet, James.
Oh, I didn't show it. It's on my phone.
Oh.
It's,
okay.
Yeah, sorry. We'll try to get it out to everybody because I think we're going to try to plug this in a couple of places. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. Okay. The next part of the quote is this: to change something, build a new model that makes the existing model extinct.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so think about what I'm talking about economically, because if we have a lot of extinction clauses in what we talk about, like your debt is going to become extinct, right?
Yes.
But you better have a new model that makes it extinct, or it's just gonna stink.
That's true.
So keep it in mind, everybody. I think we can do both and support those of you who don't have the capacity to take funds that way. But that's the subject matter with Abhi today, is if we can provide that to you through the gateways without having to be the gateway. Because the idea in business is that you can be your own gateway. That's when you're your own financial institution. And the only place that right exists outside of banking is in an owner of property and an owner of their own store of account. That's the only place that right exists. And so it's on the table for you to be in that position. Some people I've found don't want to be in that position, and maybe we can do it both ways. But keep in mind, that's what we're looking at. It's 9:30, 3:34 right now, Utah time here in Park City. And I want to welcome all of you to the Worldwide HOA invitation to join the licensed founder developers. I'm trying to put that into the right context. But that's what we are here, is a bunch of licensed founder developers and declarants of real estate. And we have an opportunity that each of you should know about if you're new to this call. Hey, I don't know if I'm the claim host. I'm in a claim host reel here. Oh, I can't claim host. Ernie, can you mute some people so I can? Ernie, are you there, Ernie? All right. Anybody can hear me? Would you mute your phones, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Kenneth, I'll get back with you. I promise I saw that call. I want to share some things with you today, folks. I'm James Ray. I'm a declarant with the Exist family of entities. It's a group of entities, for-profit entities that we've been working on for about 2.5 years. Okay, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing and what we're getting into, because I think it might be I get some of the most interesting pop-ups on my computer. Queen Bee. That's funny. Marketing is an interesting thing, isn't it? You tell people stories, it's always a cry wolf, because you're living on a fringe market, and we want to change that for everybody. And so we built the Exist family of entities, and they exist starting with our holdings company. and of which where the declarant rights exist and where we put all the intellectual property rights. And then we built 3 corporations underneath of it. And one of them is Exist Crypto right here. And it's a for-profit entity, and it's designed to be a modern register of account. And that's what we're developing. And in technology, you would think that one of these would be updated at least as often as your iPhone. Okay. And so when you're in that development, you know, you love getting your new iPhone. You didn't realize there's 27,000 people working on the next model already. Okay. So this company is designed to provide an individual members of our Worldwide Homeowners Association up here, because that's what you're here from an invitation from a worldwide HOA licensed founder developer. They're trying to recruit you into our commercial venture right now. And so I wanted to make that clear. But we provide members and founder developers of the Worldwide HOA access through this modern register of account to be able to use modern technology and blockchain and tokenization. And we've literally branded that to real property, title bundle, recorded, like worth the paper it's written on, right there. Okay, so you got a whole new economic venue to play with. And when you say, well, then all of a sudden, what does that mean? Well, it means that we built it with no interest and no monthly payments, because you've already paid for your equity. And now you can convert it into a modern form of exchange to buy the goods and services that you want to increase your freedom, your equity, and your wealth. And so where do I do that? Right here at Credible U, which is our online virtual marketplace, which will host the products, goods, and services providers to the members of the Worldwide Homeowners Association in exchange for some mixed form of rewards and equity tokens and cash or other forms of currency to buy those products, goods, and services. And that all occurs through the modern register of account, okay, which belongs to you. We call it the Exist Wealth Architect Eco Register 1.2. ECO stands for Equity Coin Operator. Okay. So it's a modern register of account with a multi-currency register. You started out with what belongs to you. Why wouldn't you? You've already paid for it. Because if you think about that, equity is not money, right? And because it's not, because it can't be, because you can't go to the bank and take out a loan and for the first 3 to 5 years be required to pay $4, $5, $6, $7 for $1 of equity and then refinance and start over again, paying the fees and calculating all of that and find a way out.
I guess not going back to church too. I know you go quite a bit.
I go to a different church now.
Sunday. Where are you going?
Saturday, Beth Messiah.
So we got guests here. Hey, gentlemen, could I ask you to please mute your phones?
Outside. It was all.
You go to Bayside?
Bayside.
I don't have control of that right here today.
I gotta get back in there.
So I want to share with you that you can get access to your equity at no monthly fee and no interest costs, because it already belongs to you and you've already paid for it. And as an owner, you have the right of disposal. Now, if you can package that right in a token, then you're going to be able to have an account that can be accounted of. And that's what happens right here with this, right here, this Exist Crypto Token Purchase and Equity Conversion Agreement. When you look at what you can do, this is the document that will allow you to do that. And it's what you are going to end up recording on your title bundle. And it will tell you all the things that you need to do.
I'm sorry,
I can't
Mr.
hear over
James,
that
but
either.
it's hard to hear you.
Yeah, me too. Give me 1 second and I will
Thanks,
see.
Mr. James.
Hang on, let me see if I can figure out a way to fix that.
All right, yeah, so I gotta get back there.
Yeah, I can't claim host. I don't have the key. Dana, do you have the key if you're here?
Paycheck.
Can you claim
Everyone
host?
bring with me. After I meet with Joe, I said I'm gonna go by our house. I'll grab the check and then bring it down to her.
We could probably all sign out.
People,
and
please
start
mute
again.
your phones.
Hang on a second.
Very hard to hear you, Jane, with the
If somebody
I-
know, then they can call them and let them know we need them to be on mute.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get control here. All right. Got quiet around here. Okay, so what I was sharing with you, okay, as an invitation call, how you get access to your equity through the Worldwide HOA and the founder developer. And then there's a business opportunity I got to get into. But if you can get access to your equity at no interest and no monthly fee and use it at full value, and I can show you how to even increase the value, then not only is it good for you, it would be awesome if you had a license and you could offer that service to other people. And that's what comprises part of the opportunity, okay? But right here, you come down, that's the exist crypto token purchase and equity conversion agreement. Kind of starts right here. It doesn't give you a ton of information. This is part of the intellectual property, but I wanted to read the introduction. This Exist Crypto Inc. Token Purchase and Equity, AVEC is our acronym for Alternate Virtual Equity Credits Conversion Agreement. This agreement contains the terms and conditions that govern the creation and use of Exist Crypto Alternate Virtual Equity Credit Tokens, AVEC. The crypto Exist Crypto AVEC token distribution contract, so it handles that too, and the use of owner-created Exist Crypto digital assets, and this is what I've been telling you about, within the framework of the Exist family of entities, the Wealth Architect Eco Register 1.2, and on the Exist Crypto technology platform. That's kind of the that comprises it right there. Okay, Exist Crypto alternate virtual equity credits, or Exist Crypto AVEC, are defined as, and this is really important, an encrypted digital set of tokens or a token species that are applied to and represent a percentage of owners wholly owned and controlled, there's all your safety measures, on your equity. The tokens contemplated herein are fundamentally an owner equity backed token. That means it will belong to you. You know, a couple of years back when people were trying to make some money off this new digital market rising up, right? Yeah, they were out there mortgaging their houses, taking out second mortgages, home equity lines, pulling all the cash out, buying Bitcoin, buying Ether, buying this, buying that. And before they get the money, you know, the discounts, the interest, let alone if they discounted your equity to get the money, people lost their homes on that deal. The banking system shut all that kind of happenings down, and it caused a big fight. And it's still some of that going on, okay? The Exist Crypto AVEC token valuation, this is how we make sure that we know what we have, is based on the Commercial Efficiency Valuation Association, we call that CEVA, Equity Proof of Stake Protocol, hereinafter CEPOS, CEVA Equity Proof of Stake. Upon third party, upon the, I should have a the in there, upon the third party equities verification and valuation, no comma, the equity is digitally encrypted, okay, and tokenized, and that's your digital mirror. And the equity is set digitally to be represented by the Exist Crypto Alternate Virtual Equity Credits. And there's your digital envelope that you're tucking it into. And then recorded on the deed of trust at the county recorder's office to run with the land until the time it is redeemed. Here's your redemption by the original owner. There's your control or purchaser of the Exist Crypto Token Purchase and Equity Conversion Agreement. Okay, so it kind of takes you down and gets you a little bit of information. Since this is an invitation to join the WOA licensed founder developers, we're going to talk in a minute about opportunity here. But I kind of want to slow it down a little bit and tell you kind of how we would see you should look at what we're trying to make available to you. If you kind of get a week schedule in your mind, most people can find some time and it won't interrupt the life too hard, but they can, if they find something worth doing, they're going to dedicate the time. So we're supposed to set the hook here until you don't miss this opportunity, because if you look over it lightly, you're going to miss it, and then you're going to hear later and wish you hadn't. Okay? But we want you to know where you're coming into this deal. We want you to know what you have, what we're doing, and what the offering is. And so a lot of people are hearing, because word gets out and stories get told, that we can pay off your debt, and we have it in the presentations. But the idea here, since we're looking for talent, because we're establishing the worldwide HOA, and that's why it's an invitation to join WOA founder, licensed WOA founder developers, okay? Is because there's a massive opportunity here for you to look at when you are in a position to offer people access to the equity that they've already paid cold hard cash for, and help them to enter into a path on a technology platform that they can literally use these documents to print their own money. I know. How can you do that? How can you print money? Look at all the free money. That's how much it's worth, I promise you. Okay, here's your money. You need to know everything about it, because that's what we're talking about. What is the best definition of money? Let's try that one. Let's see if you can print your own money. Let's look at it right here. Money is an object that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayment of debts in a given country or socio-economic context. The main functions of money are distinguished as a medium of exchange. Okay, whoa, right there. Isn't equity a medium of exchange? It has a bigger market penetration than money. Money shortfalls at 2.5 billion people all over the planet. They're still trying to get people to use that money. Those people that don't use that money look at us using that money and think we're insane. Okay, there's a reason for all that. But does it act, does equity, and yes, any realtor or developer or builder on this call will tell you, yes, equity will behave for sure as a medium of exchange. It's a little hard to work with, or in the past it was anyway, okay? And then the next one right here. A unit of account. Will equity act as a unit of account? Equity stands first in the hierarchy of economics, and every bank will tell you so. And the first question is, if you own your home, do you have equity? So there you have it. Equity is the unit of account. All other units of account are subordinate and derivative. Just so you know, we're in money talks here for a second. Because if you think we might know something about it, you might be interested in learning about it if we have something to offer you. Okay? I like this next one. Store of value. You guys know where I'm going, but I'm going to drive it home. Okay? What's a store of value? Is equity fit the definition of a store of value? Oh yeah. It is the number one store of value. Period. Without question, undisputed. Okay, so we met that one. And occasionally, that one's awkward. A standard of deferred payment. Well, that actually fits equity better than it does money, but that you see the bridge now between equity and money right there. Okay? And that's it right there. Because we've been deferring our debt into the equity for 100 years. So you got to look at this one a little bit different right here. Just look at that one real close. A standard of deferred payment. Why isn't the payment the money? Can somebody answer the question? Wait a minute, I thought if I gave you money, I paid you. No, because money is a currency and it defers, and that's why you can get a rate and a term on a mortgage right there. So just so you know how to look at that. Okay, so you're deferring, you can use it, and so then they add in the use of money, and that's where you get into your interest and your fees and the different parties involved in that unilateral stack, because that's not a bilateral, that's a unilateral. And money's important, but if you figured out that equity is all the same things that you can do with that, if you have it in a modern form of exchange, which is digital currency, okay? And just, I wonder if I can show you this real quick, just for fun. Let's just see if I can find it out of the blue. OCC.gov. Everybody ready? Look at this. 2020. That's our time. July, my little girl's birthday. July 22. Right here. Watch this. I got a great big birthday present here. If you're wondering if this is coming and if it's real, I'm going to prove it's real right now. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency today published a letter clarifying national banks and federal savings associations' authority to provide cryptocurrency custody services for customers. National and state banks and thrifts have long provided safekeeping and custody services, including both physical objects and electronic assets. The OCC has specifically recognized the importance of digital assets and the authority for banks to provide safekeeping for such assets since 1998. In the letter published today, just in case you're all wondering how long this has been going on, in the letter published today, June 22nd, 2020, the OCC concludes that providing cryptocurrency custody services, including holding unique cryptographic keys associated with the cryptocurrency, is a modern form of traditional bank activities related to custody services. Crypto custody services may extend beyond passively holding keys. From safe deposit boxes to virtual vaults, we must ensure banks can meet the financial services needs of their customers today, said acting comptroller of the currency Brian P. Brooks. Meet that guy. This opinion clarifies that banks can continue satisfying their customers' needs for safeguarding their most valuable assets, which today for tens of millions of Americans includes cryptocurrency. The OCC also recognizes that as the financial markets are increasingly digitized, the need will increase for banks and other service providers to leverage new technology and innovative ways to serve their customers' needs. By doing so, banks can continue to fulfill the financial intermediation function they have historically played in providing payment, lending, and deposit services. Today's opinion applies to national banks and federal savings associations of all sizes and is consistent with a number of states which have already authorized state banks or trust companies to provide similar functions. Welcome to the new economy. And at Exist Crypto, we've got about 30,000 hours into making this ready for you at the Exist family of entities. And if you're interested in jumping on board and finding out more, I want you to get back with the founder developer that brought you here and talk to them about our compensation model and why we're doing things the way that we're doing them. But we have every intention of paying out over $500 million in compensation to help us to find 10,000 properties. We're about to launch a showcase of model homes and get ready for a open enrollment in 2021 for this model and applying this blockchain directly to real estate in the owner's control. And that's the big separator between what everyone else is doing and what we're doing right there. Is it belongs to you. If you could print money, what would you print it on? Well, print it on the title bundle and give it back to the people. It belongs to them, and you have to stay pure to that principle or you'll break this model, okay? But there's a big opportunity here on the table. I saw a hand raised, so I'll go ahead and take that. I don't always see that, but yeah, Dennis, I think. How are you? Yes. Oh, he's ahead of me, is he? Well, then we are on the same page, me and that fella. Yeah, and you too. Thank you, because it's an us. It's an us here. It's not a me. It's not an I. It's not a me. It's a we and an us. And that's how the culture of an association of neighbors works. And there's a whole bunch of that built into the culture of what we're building here. You know, I've got kids and they got friends, and I'm a little bit familiar with the challenges that we're all faced with in life. Okay? But I want to tell you, we found something special, and I promise you want to know about it. So welcome to the call. Thank you for being here. Make sure you get back with the people. You know, these calls are doubling literally right now in the mornings. This is a big deal we're playing with. If you had a chance to look around at who's showing up here, who's on the call, maybe you're one of them, maybe you're some of them, and maybe you know some of them, but I'm telling you the talent that's on this call and that's on our founder developer trainings, you've got some serious talent here. And because they finally have a world stage to shine from, watch out, because that's what I built, is a stage. And so if you're looking for your time to shine, it's right here. Get on the stage of the Worldwide HOA and let's shine. And let's make this thing real. There's a lot that can be done here. Take a couple of days with your founder developers See if they're going to get you to call a few people and have some conversations and see how attractive this offering is and what the potentials are. Okay? Because the potentials are vast. You have a new economic venue on your hands, one that's rooted in law and an existing body of law. It's called ownership and equity. And equity is no longer a non-liquid instrument, my friends. If you knew how important what it is I just said is, you're not going to let it go. Because that makes everything else we saw, you know, those communications opportunities, .coms, the little ones like Amazon, stuff like that. Yeah, those are just consumables and odds and ends. We're talking about the whole house here. We're talking about lifestyle. We're talking about you. We're talking about me. And, you know, nobody else is doing this for us. This is all about us. So it's personal and yet general in its nature. And so that really gives you all the evidence that it is a new economic venue. It's equity and it's now liquid. And I say that we figure it out because I think we're scratching the surface. But if you get to the exist core documents, you'll see that's a good scratch. Puts a mark on the ground. As a matter of fact, proof of stake. And there's no such thing as proof of stake without it being recorded on title bundle, my friends. So all of the intellectual properties and things are subject to the real land. And now you have the real land in a liquid form, in a modern form of exchange. And we're building together a modern register of account, which decentralizes really everything because you've wrapped a financial institutional structure around an individual who has an unlimited right to contract with a multi-currency register, which is why it decentralizes the exchange, because that's all they're doing. But what happens when you have that within your system, within your association, and you can draw off of aggregate equities and cash flows to make deals happen within parameters that are already approved? We got a lot to talk about economics. I learned some. I learned that you stand first in the hierarchy of economics, and if I can apprise you of that properly, it's like standing in line and watching a guy accidentally lose his wallet. You pick it up, you tap him on the shoulder, and you say, "Hey, dropped your wallet." He's like, "Man, can I buy you a hamburger? I gotta get you something." It's like, "No, just have your money back." 5 minutes later, tap him on the shoulder. "Hey, dude, you dropped your wallet again." And but we've been sitting on it on the house. It's acres of diamonds. All those stories become real here. Okay, you don't need to go search for something. The simple things in life will make us free. That which lies beyond our grasp is fantasy. That which lies within our reach we see, yet lies incomplete holds the key. The simple things in life will make us free. Men are born with everything that they need in reach. So when you find out here that you can have what you want, take a little bit of time and make sure you follow some Buckminster stuff so that we can get and some Goethe and get a good plan in place, because the whole secret to the electrification of matter and all of the self-help stuff that you can get is I'll tell you the secret, because you shouldn't be buying secrets because you can't tell anybody, and thought is currency and speech is made to carry the treasures of the mind. Okay? And when you learn the electrification of matter and that you can literally write the money on your own title bundle and change your life, I don't mean to be overzealous about trying to tell you what we got here, but you probably ought to hear it from me at least once. Okay? You're in a position. The question I would dealt with that started this whole thing rolling, just since it's an invitation call, is this. I got introduced to the digital market. I became frustrated within 3 weeks. A buddy of mine helped me get into it about a year out of cardiac arrest, right after Christmas. And I jumped into it and called some people I know, and they're important relationships to me. I'm a relationship guy. Okay. What a disaster trying to bring qualified, intelligent people into the digital world. Was an absolute disaster. In 3 weeks, I was so frustrated. I called my friend and said, I'm giving you all of this, but he had paid, bought Bitcoin, the whole 9 yards, bought me the business, did the whole thing. Back to him and I says, I can't do it. I just doesn't have the personal touch. I've sat across from people for all these years, and I'm telling you, I don't see how that has the ethics, the morals, the standards, or anything I'm looking for. But it was sensitive because he was helping me and we're friends. And I says, but don't be mad at me. I've had the chance to print money before, and so I'm going to give that some thought. Well, I don't know if he realized just how impactful that event hit me, but it affected me to the point where I couldn't get it out of my head for days. And because I was coming out of that cardiac and everything, I wanted to know. I wanted to do something good. You look that close at the dirt and you want to do something different right then and there, I'll tell you. So that's why I was sensitive about the Bitcoin arrangement. I wasn't comfortable with it. I was trying to do something different, and I wanted to do something right for once. And, you know, reading it all, the history of money, printed on everything from clay tablets to ropes. What is money? And we just went over what is money. It's an object. Okay. But once I'm standing on the front porch in the morning, like I did this morning too. Here's what happened. I was standing there, and just as clear as the thought ever came into a man's mind in his life, printed on the title bundle, give it back to the people, it belongs to them. And with 30 years of self-employment in building and construction and land development and finance and credit repair and debt elimination, you can only imagine the flood of information that must have went into my wife, broke in her bathroom door and told her all about what I had found, and she thought I had lost my mind. No, I lost something else. I lost an illusion, and I woke up to a new reality, and I found equity, and it's something special, and we're trying to share it with you. We're going to market, and we're on the move, and it's happening right now. So welcome aboard. Thanks for coming to the call. Get back with the people that invited you. Find out everything that you can. Have a
James, I got a question if you have a second.
Yeah, Phil, how are you?
I'm doing great. When you remodel, so you have a house, you have an investment house, whatever, and things have to be remodeled. Now that money you get, you have to go to certain contractors that are in the organization, correct? That you already have lined up. Let's say it's solar power, or you want to make it into a smart house. You know, you need an electrician. Do you have the contractors already there, correct?
You remember Eagle Hardware, Philip? Did you see those guys come in the market like Lowe's or Home Depot? They were a little group. I caught them. They ran through Utah and did a couple of deals here. Okay. And what I found out about Eagle Hardware is they were a development company front for Home Depot and Lowe's under Eagle Hardware, but they had this A core team of people, right? And so they would come in and pick up a plat and develop it up and then host it and put their core team in there. You'd have loved to go there and buy a tape measure. I got to tell you right now, they'd sit you in a nice chair and bring you a latte and roll you down the aisle and help pick up the tape measure and put it on your pocket for you. They were the best service providers in hardware I have ever seen in my life. And then about 3 months after they opened the store, you saw the new people coming in to staff it because the A team was going to go open the next store, right?
Right.
Well, the latte went away, the comfortable chair, no more pushing down the aisle. But what we did is we modeled a little bit out of that right here, okay? And so, yeah, you got to get to contractors, but right in the unlimited right to contract, that's where we slow it down right there, okay? And before you have the money, you have the token, which can represent or be traded for money or passed off with equity right of transfer, okay?
Okay.
And so now you have another digital asset that has at least the equivalent, and I think way more value, because we put attributes and characteristics on it that you can't do when you already have those in the form of debt and interest and fees, because you're using a different form of exchange. You instantly subject the equity to that. Okay, so keep it in digital form before you cut any deals. Because as a builder, the bank was always getting all that. The customer goes to the bank, qualifies for bank discounts. You know, you got an 80% budget to build. And by the time the guys build it, they're getting about 55% for materials and labor, and everything else is overhead, profit, and change orders, and 80% of the contract's bus budget. It's a nightmare. Okay, so here's what we did. We stabilized that whole thing. And so by getting your token equity, right? First, in the space of your unlimited right to contract, we bring a team in and work with you in your area to gather all of those assets and make sure that the contracts come out into your favor. Once that's been established, you'd see your economic structure count first. Now you know it all goes into the smart contracts or through the process of negotiation with the tile guy, the cabinet guy, the painter, the roofer, the windows, because you're going to host all that for resell, not just out of your place, but also on the internet with a McDonald's form of advertisement. Every little McDonald's doesn't do their own advertising. That all comes out of A-Team. It's aggregate, it's cheaper, it's more effective. It's the same model as a mall. Location is no longer local, it's location in the internet and local. And so it touches the ground with the model of internet expansion. So you can market through your modern register of account all of the improvements and write the contracts on the showcase model home, which is how we're marketing. You know, there's never enough time to tell everybody things, but if I have the #1 real estate investment contract, it's important to know about it. And what is it? It's got to be the showcase model. We sold thousands of homes over the years. Other people took on 30 years of debt, and we made contracts and money off of all of those out of 3 model homes. Where was the #1 real estate investment? In the model home. I was a contractor. I wasn't Pulte, but I came in and threw in at the front with the models, gave them all the major discounts. We were way below market, like 50, 60+%, not including spending extra time, because everybody's going to come and look at it and criticize your work. And so we put the best efforts we've ever put on those model homes and sold thousands of contracts. I never had to sell them again. I was already bound to the contract for doing it. And that's the negotiation space. And you're the owner with the unlimited right to contract. And if you know how to address those negotiations, equity under development has always outrun debt properly in economics. And if you know how to make sure that you slice it right, you're going to end up with the heavy side of the loaf when you're done.
All right.
Yeah, it's just economics. So yeah, and some people are more restricted, Philip, because they're in condos and different places and houses that are out. But you can show any developed area where people want to live. Why can't you have a showcase and start letting people know? I mean, I'm in Utah, so water, desert, mountains, snow. I got to have a little bit of everything. But some people like the desert, and some people like Alaska.
All right.
Yeah. And so they should both have a showcase. And so we have 10,000 of those that we're putting out. And that's the highlight of the invitation, is that we're under a commercial growth pattern right now, establishing that commercial footprint. And once those properties are under contract, we'll get signage and different things. You know, the internet will already have signage, but I mean physical signage, because they're going to go under contract. And now you've got the biggest billboard banner system in local economies with equity next door, next to every sign you post. And along with our internet and funnel marketing campaigns in category, you know, the old saying is, if it's within the normal course of business, we're a developer. Yeah.
Another question I have is how, like, I have some, I've got a couple of 3plexes and a couple of duplexes, and I've about 6 properties.
Yeah.
How would it work? Like right now I'm Airbnb-ing a lot of them, and it's, you know, it's very successful. Obviously COVID knocked things back for a while, but now we're pretty much booked all the time. How would that work with investment property like that, where you're doing Airbnbs? I have another single family house that could be just a model home where I wouldn't even maybe rent it out, but just people go there.
Philip, you're going to own that Airbnb when I'm done with it.
Right.
Because you have a better token of equity for exchange for the space now, because that's occupancy is all you're farming right there, huh?
Right.
But yeah, you still possess all those profit streams. You don't lose any of them. Now you can digitize the underlying asset and triple down. I mean, it's not double down, and you're not double dipping. We've identified the elements where the value sets can be identified and formulated, and their use, and the return upon their use. Because everything we did in interest, because the economy supports that. The wider umbrella, the macro economy supports the interest. It's the whole dang economy right now.
Right.
Yeah. And so your baseline is what becomes the funnel right there, because you just have a better value set now than anybody else. And so you can attract contractors, you can attract everybody you want to improve it. You can put, you know, you got Airbnb, you're showing the place every week.
Right.
You're already running an absolute showcase.
Well, how would, like, let's say let's say somebody comes in, you know, sometimes they rent it for a month, a week, 2 weeks, and we have people that want to see it, like, you know, maybe a contractor or whatever. How would it work where if you have somebody, you can't sit there and tell an Airbnb person that I've got to show the house. They would, you know, their privacy, they wouldn't enjoy that at all. How would that work if you guys run into that?
Like the hotel room, you just want them to know what's around the property and what's available in the neighborhood, and it's just sitting on the desk as a little pamphlet. I just keep it easy and soft. They're going to ask, especially when it says on your site that, you know, I mean, you're taking Airbnb, that's one contract, but now you is Airbnb. You got equity. Yeah, that's only going to take a minute. We could, if you and I, Philip, focused on what you're talking about right now for 1 week, I'll bet we could fill those up for a year, letting people know they could visit. Where are you at? What town are you running those in?
It's Toledo, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. So you know your market already, or you wouldn't have got into it right there. So all we got to do now is let everybody know that you can take equity in exchange, because you can take the equity and turn it to cash, which creates your baseline on your basic fundamental for your fund. And now you can turn the cash when you need the cash. Like I say, use cash for what it's for, because everybody knows equity is more stable, but now it's liquid.
Right.
Yeah, and people will pay you in liquid equity to stay at your place, and all you got to do is turn the part you want into cash.
Okay.
But we got to develop it.
Yeah,
we got to work it out and put it in the market, and that's the founder developer opportunity, is that you have a new economic venue, and I appreciate you digging into me on that, because that's what I said, we scratching the surface, but it's these engagements, and all of a sudden that it becomes daunting. It's the dawn of equity. We have liquid equity. I'm going to name it about 10 things that are going to be written down in history on this one. And other people will name it things, and we'll write books and education. It's already come up. We've had requests to start universities. We found equity. You know, we've all been trained heavily in commerce with interest attached. And so it's hard to pluck that interest key from the mind long enough to get a true baseline to do you can keep. But the simple SIVA method, if you just slap it into is to basically just eliminate the negative and accentuate the positive. And by going through that process, that just comes to an analysis of fees and interest and use and restrictions. And once you realize that money is more expensive if you have liquid equity, both on the give and the take.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Both
got
on
another,
the give and the
I got
take.
another question about the tokens that are going to be, aren't they going up, be available next week or something?
Yeah, we'll have a pre-token sell on the centralized network for everybody, for founder developers, because we got a lot of people with a lot of financial relationships that are actually interested. And, you know, in the culture of the equity coin offering, it's a whole bunch different than an ICO or what we've seen where they just print tokens, because we capture the tokens one species parcel set at a time and launch them in single file through our flagship equity coin offering. It functions like a funnel. So every property gets the attention of the whole organization. If you got
is there anybody else that has a token that's backed by property that you know of? Are you the first?
They all got bits and pieces of it, but nobody hit that give it back to the people it belongs to them, Philip. And the magic is you can provide that service off the desk when they're coming through. They're going to read it when the television isn't annoying them.
All right.
And then,
Good morning, Philip. This is Abhi Hirschwal. I can pitch in on that question. So there are
Philip, Abhi is our technology chief technology officer.
All right, thank you.
So there are close to 20 out there in the market. They all came in the 17, 18 years, like 2017 and 2018. As of right now, 2020, all of them have zero traffic. So they are whatever they're showing on the websites or any other places, advertisement, they are really hunting down for properties so people can come and digitize. Right. But nobody's doing with them. Reason why is because they all have underlying dealt with SEC and they came out as security.
Okay.
We didn't. We came out as a pure peer-to-peer cryptocurrency because it's completely under owner control, and that's the magic right there.
Do you know what exchange it's going to be on yet? Is that where
we will have our own exchange platform?
Oh, okay.
liquidation, because we are what we are creating here is the entire ecosystem. So it's not something that we are just creating on one side of it. This is an end-to-end solution. It's an end-to-end platform for any investor or any asset owner.
Wow. Okay.
So Philip, you can give me all your property and I'll tokenize it for you.
All right.
You see, these guys are already trying to cut deals with you, Philip.
We can certainly talk about it. This is all so new to me. It's very interesting.
I tell you what, Philip, you don't have to raise the hammer.
You guys aren't going to steal my thunder.
There you go, Mario.
Philip, it's actually really similar to going to the bank. And then the idea is, of course, we know it's different now. They hit a button and you get your money if you qualify. But the idea is that they used to lend off deposits, right?
Right.
So they were the crowdfunder and you and me were the borrower at that level. Well, with the new technology, that's been broken and that's no longer the status quo. And you can take that directly to the crowd if you have a pure cryptocurrency. And that's the world market right there. And so you're just taking the technology that the bank was using, bringing it home finally, and saying, "Hey, it's a new world, and I'm in charge."
Okay. Do you have?
But you got to get access to the crowd, and that's what that's market penetration. That's what the bank did for 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy for you and me to go in and say, "Hey, this is what I need," as long as I can keep myself stable. But then like what's 08, and again, now we're looking at a little bit of a restriction on liquidity, and we're all looking for some answers. You found it right here. I'd love to share more with you on your details.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thank you, everyone. We're talking. Did you see that? Look at that. It's the deal. It is the deal. I get. Well, that's what I liked about Philip's running that model already by default. And I hope the rest of you caught it. Yeah, because I mean, you got traffic already. It's not location, it's traffic. That should be the replacement word for location, location, location. That's really obsolete. It has nothing to do with that now in a decentralized economy. It has to do with traffic, because everything's flying through the air now. Ask Amazon, ask Google, ask Facebook, ask everybody. Come on, Twitter. That's what my point. But all of those are subordinate to equity. All this stuff, oh no, Elon's launching satellites. It's all going to change. Hey, you try to launch one of those satellites without ground under it and let me know how that goes for you. The principle is solid as a rock, and the ground you stand on. It's the number one asset. And if you know how to use it and you know it's number one and that you can't launch a rocket without it, well, then you're in first. And if you didn't know it, then you're waiting for somebody to launch the rocket. It's already there. The simple things in life, yeah, that which lies beyond our reach is fantasy. That which lies within our reach we see, yet lies incomplete, holds the key. The simple things in life will make us free. And I got to tell you, it's within your reach. It's got to be that way, because never a man did a thing that wasn't within his reach. Ever. Now, some reach is more metaphysical than others, but it's still the same principle applies. If you have a consciousness of the size of a golf ball, then your view of the universe is going to be the view of a golf ball. On the other hand, you could have the mind of a universe and look at a golf ball, and it's a whole nother thing. So when you start to think both ways, you'll see what we're doing here, because it's inside out from what you're used to, but it's still the same cloth. Put your shirt on right. Put your shirts on right. I knew I had to do that because I had to too.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, James. Philip is giving up his property for me to tokenize, and everybody here is a witness. And we'll put it in the smart contract.
He's not giving.
I don't know, guys. My wife's right here. She's frowning at me right now. So
you wanted
what you say.
You wanted Philip's property, and I want Philip, because that's where the value's at. I assure you, he didn't acquire 6 properties because he doesn't know what's going on. But I also know
I don't know what the hold up. What's the hold up? Hey, appreciate the slides, Ernie. Good job, and man, so proud of you.
Okay, you guys, I gotta go. We got a ton of things we're doing for everybody. I'm going to be going under the radar for long as it takes to make sure we're ready to launch. So think of it as a couple of tickets going up on a couple of properties here on the 12th, and a capture page to get you in line. Because if that's a for sell by owner offering on a pre-token sell, it's going to take a minute for people to talk and make their offers and what they can get. Now, that's a negotiation I have nothing to do with, just so you all know.
Yeah, they're negotiating directly with the owner.
Yep, it's a pure peer-to-peer negotiation. It has nothing to do with us. All we did is give you what you hired us to do on the technology services platform, and stick what you recorded on Title Bundle into a digital envelope we call Exist Crypto Alternate Virtual Equity Credits, private property, and Exist Crypto Onus community property, so that you could do the equity coin offering in the fashion that we're doing it. And it's not like an internet coin offering. It goes through the internet, but not in a token set of 100 million tokens or anything. It goes through one parcel, one token species set at a time. Now, what we did that's cool with that is we found a constant. And our constant is dollar for dollar equity under development. And at that time, development, you can grab the token because you know it'll hold value. And the older it gets, the more value it holds. That's how property works. So there is more to time than we know about. But you get that value back in your hand, and then take back all those merchant account services back into equity rents into your favor, because it's not their money now, it's yours. And so what's that worth? We did a little test on that a minute ago. It was like between 50 and 100, between a 5 and a 10 and a 20 moving around, right? Something like that. So but even if it's 20 times a year and you're getting 1% on anything, you weren't getting nothing on it yesterday. And yet you paid full price for it. You might get an occupancy, that's what Philip's getting, but the equity's still sitting there, because that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about is occupancy. We needed to protect that because it's a revenue stream. So it is protected. But the equity's under the foundation. And so you got to pull that, because it's been paid for cold hard cash, back out and get it into a modern form of exchange. And the beauty of it is we're not the ones creating that. That's 10, 11 years old now, and you got that already built. It's already there, $250 billion every day. Nobody asked for credit scores. Nobody asked for how long you've been at your job. Nobody asks how much money's in your bank. As long as you can pay for what they're selling, they'll take the money, and or vice versa, which is my point. Because they'll give you money for your equity, or Bitcoin, which you can trade for money, or Ether, which you can trade for money, or in supported exercises, because it's your business. But we're focusing on Bitcoin and Ether on that. They're the strongest of the two. Ether's the stronger of those. And it's going to be, because we're launching on the Ether. So thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Come on.
Thanks,
back
Shane.
every day, Philip. Appreciate that. And I would like to talk to you more in case that Owen fella loses track of you.
All right. You got it. I'm not going anywhere.
It's not Owen, it's Mario. And
is it Mario? I couldn't see who was talking.
Yeah, it's Mario, and no, I don't lose track.
No losing track here. Now, how do I get a copy of this brief? I don't think we recorded this brief. Can we get it? Yeah, I don't think we did. Don't worry about that. Just, we got meetings every day. Everything's we're under development. Our documents are so disclosed for that it's almost, you go through 50 pages and you have to read 30 of them that tell everybody who's in charge of their own stuff, okay? Because nobody ever had that before, because usually it's 30 pages of you're the only one not in charge of any of your own stuff. And it says you got to turn it inside out to see it and pull the interest key out of your head. Because then if you look at this with a clear mind that way, you're going to see what it is that you're looking at right here. So thank you a lot. Have a great day. Did you? Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Okay, James, you're going to call me then?
James, you still there? Oh, he's gone.
He's coming back at 12.